Lagos, the best kept secret, only to be discovered by those who are open-minded and cautious like Kaye Whiteman, as documented in his book titled Lagos, a Cultural and Historical Companion.
Why and how I came to write the book. There was this series that is called, the important thing is it's called Cities of the Imagination. It is cities that have got cultural hinterland, like Cairo, Havana, Dublin. There are a number of cities in the series that you're obviously going to be able to come up with remarkable literature. Dublin is a particularly good case because you have James Joyce's Ulysses, which just celebrated its centenary, and I was listening to radio programs about it, and it is a fascinating way of getting inside the city. But I was approached to write the book. I must admit, it had not occurred to me that this was what I was going to write about. But when I was asked, since I had actually come to live here.
The event, which was organized recently by the Committee for Relevant Arts at the Kogi's Art Gallery, Freedom Park, Lagos, attracted great minds in the artistic world. Dolokpa Ogunwale took her audience into the future, a collection of our thoughts.
The future is a picture our souls reach to capture, striding, riding on the raging stallions of hope as we rope for a light rapture, a rupture of hope, culture of a never-ceasing believing in the coming good season, yet reason, yet reason, yet reason. The future is virtual. Only a ritual of habitual actions, weaving a chain reaction, a transaction that cannot be broken, a never-ending token. Death will come, but life's a continuum. Death will come, but life's a continuum. Life's a continuum. Death will come, but life's a continuum. Life's a continuum. Life continues on. The future is a collection. A living art formed by our living out, forms of our thoughts and our minds, worlds conjured up in a floating dimension, lighter vibrations, pressure creating zones of dark enlightening, colors of meaning, an ethereal painting, vibrant lush and telling, echoes of past living, gossip of secrets hidden, no more lost Every moment adds a reward to reap or a sin to repent from. Each moment is done, one by one outdone. Sun setting then rising, realizing my sweet bliss or inner poison has no effect upon the changing horizons, but upon my own. Only my own dusk or dawn depends on the direction I'm going. Planting the tree of life I'm sowing by the rolling urges of the unburning bush in my heart still glowing, knowing that one day ahead my harvest will make my own daily bread of life. Not by my head, but instead led by the discomforts and upliftments embedded right inside my chest that knows from the start, intuitive report, each expo I got about the truths I contort, or the values I distort, to suit my vain ego. Eagle's wings take my sins up into heavenly machines, paving my road, my environment, waving the decoded lessons learned, lessons of primordial descent, never changing intent, perfect from the beginning right up to the very last event. The judgment sent my people to prisons we invent. Hell! Every movement, every moment controls it, molds it, makes it, grows it, kills it, lives it, leaves it, is it. The future is a sculpture sculpted, not by choice, but by compulsion. I signed up for this by being born, and I will fulfill it. Mature every talent that comes with spirit. Do the good for which I was meant. Gina wants a good future. Best creative. Positively dealing with life's card dealings. Doing good blindly, never tidily. Reward lying within that good, uplifting inner feeling. Treasures planting up in heaven. My future's now certain. I'm rising, I'm rising, I'm rising. Thank you.
Delacour is a poet.
Kaye Whiteman's book, Lagos, A Cultural and Historical Companion, chronicles the history of the commercial city of Lagos, southwest Nigeria, her founders, tradition, culture, and tourism potentials.
It was having lived here and having experienced, as I said, going to work every day from the island to the mainland, all the way to Amu-Adobin via the Apapa Expressway, and even via Mile 2, stopping off on the way to see German and the Guardian offices in Rutam House, and going in the highways and byways of Surulere and Yaba. I realized that this is a very, very large and complex city that offers a great deal of material to writers. And the proof of this is that so many Nigerians have seen the subject and written about it. And this was one of the things that fascinated me in the chapter that I have written about what Nigerian writers have produced about Lagos. I think to me is, in a way, the most important, because it shows what fertile ground it is for the creative imagination. I feel it myself, actually. I was just driving along. I went this morning, I dropped by the Bogopiri and the Nimbus Gallery to see Chike, and it sort of immediately made me think of all sorts of things that I ought to be writing. It kind of generates your creative instincts. This is, if I feel this, an old man of 77, then I can't imagine the effect it has on young people who come here and see the city. And it's something that is there. It goes back to, Jarman is right, that Cyprian Quincy is one of the key people who felt vibrations of gas. And in people of the city in Jaguanana, you get a marvelous series of descriptions of what the city was like. And the city, Lagos in the 50s was although in some ways it doesn't change, it was very different. I first came here in 1964, and it was arguably still fairly manageable then. It was not quite quite taken off into the stratosphere in the way it now has. And I feel that those early writers, like, well, and Ken Saro-Wiwa, I mean, you're right to pick on it. The writings of Saro-Wiwa about that, you know, it's part of the best part of what he wrote. If you go on in the part that I write about the transistor radio, the culmination of that conversation is about how they, from Shomolu or wherever they are, they see the bright lights of the island, and it's a permanent attraction, and gambling, and you know, it's worth reading the whole sequence actually. Although the bit that you read is good.
An excerpt from the book Lagos, a cultural and historical companion, reminded the audience of Bassi and Company, written by late Ken Saro-Wiwa, a Niger Delta activist, playwright, and novelist about the challenges of living in Lagos.
What am I to complain about? Haven't I trekked every day from Shomolu to the island for 3 months? Don't I know all the wretched signboards, all the bus numbers, and quiet, that's Bassi. And you think that's great? Have you slept under Kata Bridge? Or in the rubbish dumps of Isolo, where men who have lost their sense of smell and scavenge right in the dump, waiting for lorries bearing waste of rich and poor alike? Have you been thrown out by your landlady for non-payment of rent? Have you taken refuge in the back of a truck and woken up to find yourself 100 kilometers away without money for the return journey? No. Have you been banned for life from every ministry, every company office in town? Are your footsteps recognized by every messenger in every office? No. I've been through all of that and more for 10 good years. Alali, I roam this city, the streets of Lagos, and I have friends. I know their names. They recognize my footsteps.
On a lighter mood, when Kaye Whiteman was asked how he got the name Whiteman, here is what he said.
We do not invent our own names. Although there are some people who do, the real urban legend guys, but I found this name, and I'm told that it goes back to the Anglo-Norman, that is, after the Normans invaded, after the Norman conquest, and they took over the land of the Anglo-Saxons, there were a number of names that became sort of hybrid. And this was apparently a Norman who had very white hands, and so it was white man, which is the French word for hand. The Normans spoke French. And so originally it was white man. This is family legend. I can't tell you the authenticity of it though. But it is a name that I have been saddled with. I'm going to say saddled with. I have actually found it an advantage because it often gives rise to great mirth and hilarity. Even there was once, I think, in Paris, there was a Trinidadian who worked for the World Bank whose name was Black Man. Man meeting a black man, but anyway, there's nothing I can do about it.
Whiteman's book, Lagos, A Cultural and Historical Companion, will indeed help to change the perception of Lagos by a world that has only seen her as a city of slums and chaos.
Lagos is where I lived for 2 years, and I've been coming and going for the last nearly 50 years. Lagos is it's a place that grows on you. When you live here, you realize exactly all its potential and its complexity, and I just want more people to understand that.
Kaye Whiteman, the 77-year-old international freelance British journalist, first came to Nigeria in the 60s. Arrived to Lagos in 1964 as a journalist with the West African magazine and began writing for Daily Times. He fell in love with Lagos as he was discovering our hidden treasures.